everybody to From the Pastor's Kitchen. I get to share with you two of my greatest passions, my love for Christ and cooking. Well, today I'm going to make some fish and chips. I've already mandarined the potatoes very thinly, and what I'm going to do for you now is that I'm going to make the batter, and then we're going to put the cod in the batter and let it sit for a little bit, or push the cod to the side once we make the batter, and then we're going to come along and deep fry the chips, real thin chips. So first of all, what I'm going to do is make the batter. The batter I'm going to make, I'm using my Autry Seafood batter mix that I love. I'm going to put that in here first. 1 cup of it. 1 cup of cornstarch into the batter. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoonful of baking powder. It'll give it that light, crispy feeling. That's what we want. I'm going to put in a little adobo, just a little adobo to season it, and a little bit of pepper. I'm not going to add a lot because we're going to also add this to the fish as we go along too. I'm going to stir this all together in here. But before I stir it, I'm going to add some Seltzer water in here. Now, for those who like beer, can add beer to this batter as well. You know when you say you have beer battered fish, that's how they do this. But I don't like the flavor of beer at all. And even though it cooks down some, I don't like it. I'm going to add the Seltzer water into it. It makes it lighter too. Get the fizz from this just a little bit into this batter. Just a little bit of it. And keep stirring it until I get it to the consistency that I want it to be. Once I get it to that consistency, then I'm going to sit it to the side. And we're going to come along. We're going to season up the fish. And we're going to go right into cooking the fish, the chips, the potato chips, okay? And I like them thin because when they're thin, they actually taste like potato chips. Freshly fried, hot chips. Batter's at the consistency that I want it to be. I'm going to seal it up, let it sit to the side, and then we're going to come back and work the fish. Put a seal on here and close it. Just for a little bit, and then we'll come back to it. Okay? Just letting it sit and settle for a little bit. All the seasonings all penetrate through there, which is a really good thing. So now I'm going to take this cod. This is fresh cod fish. I've cut it into small, maybe about 2 inches, all around square pieces on it. I'm going to season it lightly. You always want to season your fish too. Just a little bit on here. Even though I did the batter, I just did a little bit in the batter just for flavoring. Okay, both sides of it. My adobo, this is my favorite seasoning that I use. I use it almost on everything, and everybody knows that too. I'm getting a lot of folks saying, you use that on everything. Yes, I do. And it's low sodium content. It has some sodium in it, but it doesn't have a lot of sodium in it, and that's what you want to. You don't want high sodium content at all. As we get a little bit older, different things start happening in our bodies, and we have the ability to control those things. So I'm turning the fish over for both sides of it, so I can season both sides. Don't you dare just season one side of your fish and not season the other side. I've seen some people do that, and then they take the fish out and say, oh, it has no flavor. Of course not, because you didn't do your due diligence in getting the flavor into the food at all. That's key to anything that you're cooking, is to make sure that it is flavored properly, and it's flavored properly when you put the right amount of seasoning on it as well. And so I already have my deep fryer set at about 400 degrees, ready to drop the potatoes down in it. I'm excited about that. I get excited about cooking anyway. So I'm going to set the fish to the side, sit it here, because I seasoned it, and then I'm going to pull my potatoes already mandarin. We cut them real thin. Okay. When I cut them real thin, I sit them in some chilled ice water. And the reason being is that when I drop these down there with the chilled ice water, it really makes them crisp. Okay? Already got them ready. They're already cut. And we're going to drop these down in here. You don't want to fill up your basket too much either. You want to give them a chance to breathe. And there we go. Drop them down in that oil. let them deep fry. Okay? We're gonna let them deep fry. We're gonna do our potatoes first, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do the cod and drop the cod down in, and then I have a final presentation for you. Stand by as we come back with all the fries done, and then we'll be dropping the cod down in the deep fryer. Hey everybody, I am back. I have finished the chips already. I thinly cut them. Idaho Russet potatoes. Now I selected Idaho Russet potatoes because there's less starch in these potatoes. Anybody that's diabetic, you need to be able to know which veggies and which potatoes to select. There's less starch in these. They're thinly cut. They taste just like potato chips. They are awesome. So right now I want to give attention to the batter that we made for the cod. I am going to lightly batter this cod on both sides and take it and put it down. I'm going to move the basket out of here and drop it down inside this deep fryer because it will float to the top when it's done. It's really hot. Okay? Right there. Take this. Drop it in there. That's one that's in there. Both sides I'm going to batter. In here. It won't take any time for these to actually cook as well too. I'm going to move this over with me, pick it up so that I won't make a mess here. Put it down inside here. That's the other one. I got about 6 pieces of cod here. Some of them broke off in the smaller pieces, which is fine as well. But battering them all over is the key here. And dropping them down inside of it. Want them to. They are seasoned on both sides as well. Shelly, you capturing as I'm battering them?
Yes, that's what I'm on.
All right. Both sides is battered. I should be able to drop all of these down in there. And I'm dropping down in there lightly because I don't want to splatter this oil. That's not necessary to do that as well. So you want to be careful as you're cooking this as well too. It's not a lot of pieces of this at all. I'm going to try to get them all in there. Take that in half right there so I can get this piece in there. And this is dinner for tonight. I'm excited about it.
Yes, Lord.
Fish and chips. I made a couple other things. I did a dessert for tonight as well too. You'll see that on the video. I did a dessert. Every now and then I do desserts. I don't do them that often. Putting these down in there. I'm going to get all of these down in here. And then they'll cook, and then I'll share with you my word for today. I'm almost done. Dropping them down in the batter. In the hot oil. This is cod too, by the way. Cod. And I'll write the recipe out for those that didn't get an opportunity to hear me say all of the recipe as well. This is the last piece. I'm going to cover them up and we will be done. Right. And not in the basket. I just drop them down inside of there. Okay? Put this to the side. Alright. I want to share with you my word for today. And it is holy. For in the word of God it says in 1 Peter 1:16, be ye holy for I am holy. What does that mean? That means some standards that we live by. When we think of today, and when I think of today in this economy, common sense doesn't even exist at all. It's like the new bought sense. You have to buy some sense from someplace else because we refuse to hear the truth. And so be ye holy for me is that I have adopted the character of Christ. For he walked in holiness, he exuded holiness, he is holiness. He lived his whole life out like that as an example. It is very hard for us today to find someone that we can exemplify after or even get a mentor. That's very important for us to be able to do that as well. So I want to leave with you that word holy means a lot. And for those of us that are Christians, holiness is not an option for us. It's not an option that I pick God up today and put him down tomorrow or whenever I feel like it's best for me. It is a way of life for me. It's by choice. And choice is the operative word. I choose holiness because I choose Christ. All right? We're going to come back with the finished plate. It's going to be plastered up for you getting the opportunity to see this cod that is finished, and it's going to be final presentation We dropped the cod down in the deep fryer. The cod is prepared, it's lightly golden brown. And then we have the chips. Remember that I used the Idaho Russet potatoes, and I used them on purpose so that it wouldn't be that starchy. That's very important. Cod, Idaho potatoes. I hope you enjoy this recipe because I'm about to get down. I'm about to really enjoy it.